Today I need to run to the storage unit because my battery keeps dying in the van. AC to DC converter I had installed in my van before. However, I took it out because it's pretty bulky and I just didn't really need it since I was running the van, driving almost every single day. It would top off my house battery that's under my bench seat here in my Vanagon. But since there is no engine in my van currently, there's no way for me to charge up this battery. I ended up throwing up a 200-watt solar panel on the roof, but we're in western Montana in the winter. I'm going to be reinstalling this AC to DC converter since I'm parked at a house here, and I'll be able to plug it in to an extension cord that goes inside so I could actually charge my house battery at 45 amps. Now that this 45 amp AC to DC smart charger is installed, it's a very easy installation process when I don't permanently mount it in the van. But now all I have to do is plug up this into an extension cord and it'll do its magic inside of the box, and I'll be able to charge my 300 amp hour deep cycle lithium battery with a wall outlet. The sweet sound of a cheap Chinese diesel heater clicking away. There's no better sound, honestly. My van has been sitting here withering away. Now I have heat and now I have lights and I could charge my phone and other stuff in my van. This van isn't just a home to me because I live full time in it. It's also a mobile office and, well, it's just like my cozy space. I need to be able to have a quiet space to be able to work on my projects online and, well, looking up and researching everything to do with my engine. Speaking of the engine, update on that will come tomorrow because there's a lot of updates. And a quick update on Ray's van. We ended up swapping out my slider door handle with her slider door handle because it turns out the 84s, their slider door likes to have some issues when opening. This is very, very hard to open from the outside. And as you can see, I've torn apart the entire door handle or door panel off. I greased up the latch in here. I checked all of the mechanisms in here. I adjusted this cable that goes to the latching mechanism in the back, and it's still having some issues. I just don't know how to make this smoother, because these door handles, they break pretty easily. It turns out that's what I've discovered anyway. So if you guys have any tips or tricks on the Vanagon, the early Vanagon sliding doors, and making this a little bit more of a easier process to open and close without putting your entire body weight on it, breaking these left, right, and center, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below, please. I would love to fix this. Other than that, Ray has torn out the bench seat and just reinstalled it, cleaned up everything underneath it, and then she's going to be putting in some wood flooring to replace the original flooring that was in here from 1984. And then we still need to figure out the water system, but it's been pretty cold out, so we don't want the water to freeze in the water tank like mine currently is. And then we also need to figure out the propane. And the plan with the fridge, this still has the stupid stock Dometic fridge in there. We're gonna put my Iceco VL45 into her van, and then once I do build out the interior, I'm going to be looking for an upright fridge. I'm not too sure what that's going to look like just yet, but my plan is to build a whole L-shaped cabinet in here, and I feel like with an upright fridge, it's going to be much easier of a process trying to build around that. Also just ordered CVs and CV boots for this 84 Vanagon, and I just ordered up some CV boots for my 85 Vanagon. So I think sometime next week, whenever those come in the mail, we're gonna be having a really greasy day. One of my least favorite projects to do on these here old Volkswagens. And this is my workstation here. I'm just waiting on a few more parts before getting everything back together on my 1.9 ALH TDI motor that I previously had installed in my Vanagon. I just tore it out to do a couple projects on it, rework the intercooler like I did in a few videos ago, work on a few other things like seals and timing belt and all of the pulleys, and rework the head because the head has some issues, but we are working through those issues. I'll update you guys a little bit on that tomorrow. I installed air conditioning into my 1985 Volkswagen Vanagon a couple months ago. Maybe some of you remember, maybe some of you are just now joining the channel, but just a little recap, I installed this Coast Mountain high top onto my 1985 Volkswagen Vanagon that was recently a Westfalia pop top. I started to do the build out on the inside of this here high top and then stopped because I wanted to build out the interior and it kind of flow in to the high top. So that's why I haven't really finished the high top interior build out. However, it is fully insulated and I do have most of it set up how I want it to be. But when I was doing that, it was middle of summer in Utah and it was very, very hot. And I saw these Out Equip Pro air conditioning units that run off of DC. They're for sale for like $800. It's not a bad price for an air conditioning unit that doesn't weigh too much and fits on the roof of my here Vanagon. So I bought it with my own money and installed it myself and shared my experience with you guys. And since then, this air conditioning has been awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It has been so nice. I was able to run it just off of my 300 amp hour deep cycle battery for a couple hours. And with the solar, I'm sure I could run it for a lot longer. However, I don't know, I might remove it. It might be nice to have in Mexico, but I just don't know if it's worth the extra weight and battery power for my use because I like the colder climates. I'm always up in the northern states during the summer where it's not too ridiculously hot. If it does get too hot, then we go up into the mountains. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just going through like a month or two of extreme heat, and if there's a heat wave, it'll be really nice to have. But for the remaining 10 months out of the year, I don't need it and I don't use it, and I haven't turned it on for quite a while now. So I'm debating on removing my 12-volt air conditioning out of my Volkswagen Vanagon. We'll see. I'm still undecided. I'm still weighing my options. I would like to know what you guys think. Should I remove it and just put like a little skylight right there, or what? Anyways, it's starting to get dark out now. I'm gonna wrap this video up so I could get a good night's sleep and start on my projects for tomorrow. I will be putting on all of the pulleys and I'm gonna start getting this engine back together, so by this weekend or early next week I could reinstall it into the back of my Volkswagen van. I'm waiting on a couple parts and a couple tools so I can finish up the head. Stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. I'm not doing daily vlogs. I'm just gonna see how far into December I could go. See you tomorrow.